You're listening to the OK Dad podcast.
Please leave your message for
Daddy-o.
Hi, Daddy.
Okay, Dad podcast. Let's start this thing.
You're listening to my husband talk a lot.
All right, dude.
Bro.
Well, you know what? I did think about it. I thought about it some, and you're the first dude that I'm gonna allow on the show before, because I still have other guests that want to come on, and time, man. I just don't have enough time.
I'm your first repeat.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna be the first one. So I don't have time right now to get them all in. I was doing a couple of week when the show first started. I wanted to build up.
Yeah, I noticed you haven't been posting so many.
Yeah.
You were on a roll there. You were on a roll there for a while, and then like obviously not that I was like, man, where's he been? Like I know everybody's been at home, man.
Yeah, dude. It was it was a good month. It was a good month. There was a lot of people that were able to help me like jumpstart it. It's always been a hobby. It's not anything I'm trying to make money on or have something blow up. It's just a project to have and house. And I've told you this offline too, that it's more of a place for myself and my thoughts to be recorded and have down. Because if something happened to me tomorrow, at least my kids have something that's not just like written down or a photograph, but it's like my voice, kind of my understanding of things, my thoughts, my opinions on them. They probably won't go back and like listen to all of these, but they would have the opportunity to. So
they're there. Yeah. They're gonna be there. And dude, that's what really inspired me, because you were talking. I remember you talked about this back. Oh man, what was it, like 2 years ago?
yeah,
I think it was two, maybe even 3 years ago. You started talking about it, and at that time you were just kind of like making voice memos for yourself, and like I had always felt the same way too, because like, dude, I'm not going to be here forever, and like obviously I have a lot to say,
Yeah.
and
I
like,
talked to you quite a bit, so like I know you have a ton of stuff to say.
as I said, what's left of you when you're gone? You're right. Like what's your memories, or memories that people have of you, and not everybody is going to interpret you. Like you're only who you are. A big part of who you are is who people think you are, their perception of you. You know what I mean? It's not always going to be your exact perception, but yeah. So I need more than just
everything's so crazy. So like I would have like a dry kind of I don't know if it's dry or not. It's really up to everybody's interpretation. But I would have like some sort of formula, I guess, for my show. I kind of want to know your history, your background, when you first got pregnant, how you felt, and then I usually ask for
when I first got
some
pregnant.
advice.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
At the end of it. But since you're the first person to come on a second time, I have nothing. And that's why I don't have any idea to like how to format.
We're going rogue
or what to ask you, because I don't have set number of questions like written down that I'm going to ask everybody. It just kind of comes out. But also something too that I know I've told you is if you're worried about something, like just do it and put it out there. And I thought about it. You've asked me like, hey, when am I going to be on again, or like what's going on with this? And I thought about it. You know what? I don't have anything, but let's just throw it up. Let's just get together. Let's do take two and see where it goes from there. I don't have anything to talk about or to go over. If you're just listening to this recent one, if you want to get Chris's background story, I don't know what number podcast it is. I can probably pull it up. But take a look and listen to it. But I have nothing on my plate other than just free range conversation. I don't know if you have anything you want to talk about.
Well, okay. So, I mean, we're not talking about this, but I will, having like expanding on what you just said. I did another podcast with one of my friends recently, and they didn't give me a rundown of what their whole thing was going to be about, but he did more or less tell me, he's like, yeah, we want to know what's interesting about you. So the first thing I guess that pops out to people, we just talked about me being albino for an hour, basically.
So
That
so
was
you're albino, right? So you got white hair, white skin.
no pigment, no hair pigment, no skin pigment, and apparently no eye pigment.
Oh yeah, yeah. So your eyes are red,
Apparently, yeah.
right?
Yeah, like, and I didn't even know that till like, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, where like, yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, they're red. I don't know why. Like, beats me. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're red, sometimes they're not. But then somebody explained it to me, like, yeah, when the light hits it, your what do you call that? Your iris,
Hmm.
it's basically, for somebody like me, it's basically transparent. So the
Mm.
red that you're seeing, you're like putting a flashlight when you put your hand on the flashlight thing, kind of thing. That's kind of what's going on when
Oh,
you see
okay.
the red. So I
Okay.
thought that was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
I used to tell people I'm a vampire when I was like in third grade or something like that.
They probably believed it too.
This one kid did. We played a prank on this one little kid. We were mean.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh man, we were talking about something earlier today, and I wanted to bring it up, and I don't remember what it was. Might have been today or even yesterday or sometime on the phone during this week. I think we talked a little bit about who it is to, I guess, be a dad or be a father. I was telling you that,
Mm.
I got Oliver. He's on his way, and I have a sister. You have two sisters. And I was telling you how excited I am for him to have another brother that's going to be relative and close to age. Because I think we're 3 years apart, and so we're cousins. We spend a lot of time, with each other growing up, like from I'd say what 6, 7 years old to probably like our teenage years.
Ooh, yeah, dude. At least, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm super stoked that Asher's gonna have a little brother and they're gonna be able to share lots of that stuff. And I was telling you what I'm also like really happy about is that I'm gonna be the dad for these two guys, for these two children, these two boys, they're mine. And we were talking about it, and I think for myself, there was a dad that I always pictured or had in my mind that I kind of needed and wanted growing up. And there's like life lessons that we learn along the way. I know what it was that we were talking about. You were saying something about how we look uncool. No matter what we do, we're gonna look
Oh,
uncool.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So what I was trying to say was like just by nature trying to be a good parent, it turns you into such a cop, man. And I just
Yeah.
like yeah. And then for somebody like me, I'm a real laid back kind of guy when it comes to my friends or whatever. I'm usually like, you're gonna do what you want, man. I'm not gonna tell you how to live or this and that. Like
Yeah.
I'm a real easygoing guy, but as a parent, you can't be easygoing like at all,
Hmm.
because then they're gonna walk all over you.
Yeah.
So like it turns you into Principal Skinner, and it's kind of lame.
And that's what I was like arguing against. Like for me personally,
You're like,
I
I love
enjoy
that,
it.
dude. You're like, dude,
Like
that's
I'm
all me,
I'm
bro.
ready for it because with me, like I don't know if it was more of like needing that when I was a kid or wanting that, but to have, you're not going to know it as a kid. You're not going to know that, hey, my dad's telling me I shouldn't eat ice cream for breakfast right now because he loves me. You're just like, man, my dad's not cool. He doesn't want me to have ice cream.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Or they think you're mean when they're real little, when they're like 3, 4. They just think you're a huge dick for no reason. They
yeah,
don't.
they're just mad at you, like walking around holding grudges. I know.
Dude, I have a 5-year-old, and she's already like, I've already had doors slammed. Not all. It's not like an
Yep.
everyday thing. Like, but like, yeah, like when it gets bad enough,
Yeah.
she'll just. And that's actually a better reaction than the tantrums and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. For me, for that, it's more of so for example, I told you Cindy, she with the whole COVID thing going on, they're telling her that she could miss school. She just has to attend online, which socially it's been socially and emotionally, specifically for Cindy, I think it's been damaging when she was first introduced to online learning. She probably had about half a year maybe like 6 months or so, doing like online portions of it, and her demeanor changed. She was always in the house. She couldn't really go to the park. She couldn't meet friends. She couldn't go to family member houses. But when she was home, she would get on the computer, she'd see on the computer, and then for downtime, what do we all do now? We use an electronic device. So she would either get on her phone, which she's only allotted 2 hours a day on her phone, and then it'll automatically turn off. So then after that ends, she'd go to the TV. And then after that, we force her to like, hey, go play with some toys, go be in your room. And it just gets draining on the kids. And she's 11, going
It's like a well, what do you call it? Because you have it. It's real. It's not strict, but it's rigid, right? Like you have like you have 2 hours for this, and then you have like a set time,
Yeah, I
and
think
that's
I
not
think
something that like
we're pretty strict. I think we're strict. We're definitely not the strictest parents. But if you think back to it, like all the kids that you went to high school with that had really, really laid back parents, like, hey, come over here, y'all come over here. My parents said we can drink at our house. Everybody came over here. They were doing drugs or they were coming home late. They were really, really laid back. Very few of them are productive members of society, I'd say, or even like social media. Very, very like productive
or
members of
if
social
not
media.
that, well, because or if not that, they because I've seen people who've more or less turned it around. Like they left their 20s in their 20s, and they more or less turned it around. But it wasn't exactly easy to get where they're at now. Like they kind
Yeah,
of
I
made
mean
it, because we all
every
do that. We
every
make
single rule has an exception, right? There's exceptions to everything. And we say that I hate talking in like generalities or what. But I say
but
I don't
you're
like
right. When you're
generalizing
raised
things.
more when you're raised more laid back, chances are you're gonna, at the very least, you're just regular 9 to 5, which is not bad. A lot of people. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
I
what you're
mean, I love nine to
saying.
five. I think we damn 9 to 5 jobs so much that
I was like, yeah, that's kind of
it's
me right now.
it's
I work nine to
probably
five. You work for the weekends and you spend time with your family.
and
I'm real simple. I'm a
it's
simple
not
dude.
bad though. There's that's kind of the stigma that everybody gives 9 to 5 jobs.
Or
And
just any job that's not your dream job. Even have you noticed
yeah,
that?
right.
Like
Like
people think
always
that
chase the
if you didn't,
stars, and if you're not there,
yeah,
you're not successful.
if you didn't, so then when you don't think you're successful, you think it makes you not happy, and people think like there's somewhere where they need to not be, but then when they do get there, they get all bougie because that they're like, well, I'm living the life I'm supposed to live, and like, what are you doing with yours? And I'm like, bro, I'm happy, bro. Like I don't
That's
care.
all it is. How do you measure success?
Yeah, me. Well, yeah. How happy you can be regardless of just about any situation. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm going to be all skipping through the flowers of, I get cancer or something like that. But like in terms of just overall contentness and like yeah, that to me that, and also you want to be secure when you're raising a family. You want to have some type of security, so that helps. It helps take away from a lot of the stress. Like I will say that, like, I don't think money makes you happy, but it sure if it affords you a lot of opportunities where you don't have to worry. There's less things you have to worry about, and then so you can work on yourself, because that's why a lot of people, they make it pretty successful at a relatively young age, and so that they're all set for life, on paper, but they haven't, been through like a personal crisis that they have to figure themselves out, because they think they are, some people
So
think that
like
some people think
financial, the
success is
amount of
already
money you
happening.
have in your bank or equity or stocks, you don't measure that in success.
Well, yeah, it's success, but it's not, it's like only a part of what makes, like, yeah, you could still be like a miserable person. You can have financial success,
Mr.
but
Scrooge.
yeah, there you go. You
Yeah.
can be all Mr. Burns about it. Yeah.
Dude, I think you got something in your hair, like right up here in
Got a
the
lot of
front.
stuff in my hair, dude. Like, okay, yeah, this total
Oh, there
quarantine
it goes.
hair. I didn't have time to.
It's
Yeah,
all right.
dude.
It's a podcast. It's a
I at
podcast hair.
least I at least shaved a little bit. I don't have the
Hey,
frost.
like measuring success. finances, I think that's something that everybody always kind of strives
I
for.
think that's cool. And yeah, that's not to knock any, because I have some pretty successful friends, and I'm like, I'm impressed by it, and not only that, but I'm more impressed when I know somebody, because some of my friends, they're pretty successful. I know one in particular, my friend Jesus. He's such a down to earth guy for how good how well he's doing in life right
So
now.
like so like even people that are successful like that, like it's so weird that we either know that they're successful, like financially speaking, or we know there's also misconceptions, like we think people are successful based on how they dress, based on what they drive, what
Oh yeah,
kind
there's
of
a lot of that. There's a lot of
yeah.
flexing for sure. Flexing.
Yeah. What and like that's not always a an indication too, because there's loans. Like now we can borrow money from the future, potentially never pay it back, and look like somebody who's doing really
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah, and
We don't want
some
to jump.
people do that. They do that too. They make success a competition, like the real, like the big wigs, like where you're just, all you're doing is just keeping up with the Joneses or whatever,
Yeah.
like that kind of. Yeah, to me that's when you get to the point where you're just chasing material goods and stuff like
I
that.
think
I don't
I
know.
think
I don't know anybody
success
like that.
I think success is it's definitely something that's fluid. It's personal based, right? So like your definition of success versus my definition of success. I hate analogies, but my favorite sandwich is going to be different than your favorite sandwich. You know what I mean? So like it's different to everybody. Somebody may want all this money, cars, nice houses. Somebody may just want a 9 to 5 job and spend time with their kids, making
Yeah,
maybe 40,000 a year or something.
yeah, and like, yeah, and I'm. It's not like I. It's not like I. And that's another thing too. I don't think you need to be. I don't think the thing that you love, your passion in life. I don't think your passion in life has to be your profession, because a lot of people act like, like that. That's another thing you said, like chasing the stars. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be. We don't choose what people are gonna want from us. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
don't choose what people are gonna
You
pay
think
us
you
for.
you
Man, make
think
a
you should work
living.
at some place that you hate?
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, there's always a middle. Yeah, no, fuck that. I don't. Yeah, yeah. If you hate where you're at, like, yeah, that's different. But see, you have to ask yourself: do you hate where you're at, or do you just hate anywhere you're at because you're not in a good frame of mind? Like some
Yeah.
people, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because like some
for
people,
me, like
some
as
people
a
will think like, I'm sorry.
like for
I
me,
got a
my
thought.
dad is always growing up. A lot of things he would say is, "Hey, like I'm doing something that makes me happy." And what I would see from my view as a kid is like, "Hey, why don't you go get like a steady job?" And like his comeback to that was always in the manner of, "Hey, I'm doing something that I love. I'm happy. Like, don't you want me to be happy with what I'm doing?" And so it was kind of that mentality, like, "Oh yeah, you should do something that you love and be happy." And kind of getting out of that mentality, probably like in my mid to early, no, mid to, yeah, I'd say mid 20s, is when I started to really change that focus onto, hey, I don't need to do something that makes me happy. It's always a plus, but I need to do something that takes care of my family first. So whether it's being in the military, having a steady paycheck, like whatever it is, like yeah, it is great being like working for yourself or having some income where it's great, but if it's not steady, like that's, to me, that was the key for me, having a steady income to
Yeah,
provide
yeah.
the
That
needs
that
for your
made you. Yeah,
family.
that makes you feel good, because it's security. You'd rather have the
Yeah.
security than to,
And
like,
so
yeah,
if you
try.
got that security, just like you said, you got that security and you're providing for your family, like that's successful. That was
I think that's
success
what it
to
is.
me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what it is
I was
for me
happy
too.
with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because yeah, like nobody's gonna be proud of like working at Taco Bell, but like I'm cool with it. Like I'm like, yeah, like some people would argue like, oh, well, you're what do you call it? You're settling or whatever. It's like, well, right now my what I do for my money for a paycheck is not super important to everything else in my life. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
really not. Like it's just to get me, and I'm doing a little bit better than just getting by. So that,
Yeah.
like I said, that helps when money is not as big of a concern. You get to kind of like work on other things.
Yeah.
and then
Right
and then
now,
think that,
everybody wants to make decisions for somebody else's life. Like,
yeah.
if I was you, Chris, this is what I would be doing. So therefore, you should be doing what I would be doing if I was in your situation.
Yeah, I always wonder if people are like, if people look down on fast food workers. If people, I was like, I wonder how many people are coming through here, and they they're here to get their food or whatever. But like, as far as like, they would never be caught dead doing a job like this or whatever like that. And
Yeah.
like,
I
I
mean,
don't try to
personally, for
be.
me, I never wanted to work in fast food. And
Neither did I.
the only
Neither did
reason
I. I
why
used
was
to
my
say that
sister
too.
worked at McDonald's and she hated it there. I don't know
Oh,
if
okay,
she
okay.
hated it there, but she told me stories, or I would hear her tell my parents stories about her time there. And like it just cemented it in my mind. I'm like, my sister's not having a good time there. I'm never going to work for any kind of restaurant ever.
Those chains do not. I don't know her exact situation, but those chains do not take care of any of their employees, and
Yeah.
it's almost as if the managers get screwed worse. Like, you put yourself in a position that's all they do. They, from what I've seen, because I've seen so many managers come and go where I'm at, and we're always in transition. And the way it seems to me, it's like, dude, like they're like pawns. They're like you could tell corporate doesn't care about them,
Yeah.
because you could just tell they're being dicked around a lot. Like you can sense it. You could tell. So I could totally see that. That's just
Yeah.
like one of those corporate things. They're so big. They're too big to fail. There's never going to be a shortage of people who want that 40K salary or whatever,
Yeah.
but you're going to take a lot of bullshit in the process.
Yeah.
So that's worth it for some people, but like, yeah, like obviously I know your sister, so she's too good for that. And that I wouldn't blame anybody for it, because like, yeah, that's your dignity right there.
Yeah,
You
man.
know.
No, she after that job, she started working for a really big company, and then she's been there for years, and she loves it
Hmm.
there now. And like, I mean, it shows you're putting in work, and not
Yeah,
just like, hey,
they
you've
probably
been
take
here
you
for a
more
while,
seriously.
but they can see like that you've been putting in
I
work.
think
And
they value her. You can tell they value her because she's been with them
yeah,
for so long.
and there's some places, man, that I don't even know what they pay. Let's take, so on the south side, the Mexican restaurants. Like, we would go to the Mexican restaurants, and the waitress there was just the same waitress that waited on Betty when she was a kid. When she would go with her grandma, it's the same
Yeah,
waitress.
dude, I've seen stuff like, yeah, and I mean, maybe they like it there. Maybe that's kind of like a second home.
Yeah, I mean, when you
You know what I
talk
mean?
about success and stuff, like, I mean, do we do we have to have a thing for success to like really drive us? Can't we just be content with what we have and like live our
Yeah,
lives? Does it
yeah. Well,
does there always have to be a drive to do
well, okay,
something more?
so answer me this. So answer me this, because I've asked myself this a lot. Where's because for me, I've always been cool with like, mm, not expecting too much, but maybe that's also what's held me back in a way. So where's for you? Where's the line between being content and then being what's that word, where unambitious? Where's the
Hmm,
line for that? Because
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, yeah, I've been more ambitious in life, and I can't say I'm at my top, right? Yeah, we were talking about the podcast. You know what I mean? You jumped on this before. I don't even know what I want to do. Like, I always get stuck just thinking about, oh, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that, and I never do it. You
Yeah.
know. And one of the things that stops me is like, I always like, man, I'm gonna have to. I think I always have to get all this gear to get started, like a
Yeah.
like a
I'm
two
the
thousand
same
dollar
way.
camera and a
Yeah.
microphone and lights and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's too much right now.
I mean, if you look at the very first episodes, like, I don't have lights, I don't have the best camera. I have a microphone, but this microphone has been around for 2 years and I haven't used it. So it's gotten more use out of the last 2 months than it has in 2 years. But I mean, for me, I think I'm overly ambitious at times, even at stuff I shouldn't be ambitious about.
I don't
I
know.
have to put up a shelf and I'm like, all right, let me get this shelf up. And then I'm like, no, let me build it so it stays a lot more sturdy. You know what? Let me prime it. Let me paint it. When it just needs to be just a small shelf that I need to put up, and like there's small things that I do that. So if you scale that to everything, like that's me. I need to find time to like just enjoy it and be content. And like Betty's really helped me on that. My wife, she's really helped me kind of like,
Yeah,
hey,
where
settle your ambition.
where
Get back down
your
here.
goal is not just the end result. Where like you want to put yourself in where you're in the zone no matter what.
Yeah.
And you're not because I think I'm guilty of that too. Where like any task or chore that I have to do, I'm always like, let's get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
like
I get very like goal oriented for that task. So like even knocking out, I put up some shelving in the garage like yesterday or day before yesterday. I really recently. And so I got that put up, and then I need to like clean the garage, get everything squared away. And so as I was doing that, I'm like, this is like I'm zoning in, spending all my time on this. And then after I finish, I'm like, all right, gosh, I gotta clean up Oliver's room. It's only 17 days until it gets here. So I start knocking that out. And it's just really like focus in on that, even though there's plenty of stuff going on around me that can use my attention.
I mean, like
Like,
as far as your family and stuff like that, or like
no,
you
like so Asher stayed with, man, I'm gonna be saying that a ton now, dude.
You're already doing
Got
it.
2 little boys. I'm gonna
You're
be
already doing
interchanging.
it. Not even here yet.
I know, I'm gonna be just calling them both. Hey, but
Cindy.
just look right at them. Have you seen what is that movie, Frozen?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Olaf?
The first one. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the second one. Well, in one of them, when Olaf's like singing something scaring him behind, I don't know if you know that scene where he's like, "Who is that? Samantha?" And so I say that and then he goes, "I don't even know a Samantha." I tell Cindy that all the time. I'm like, you're my second favorite daughter. She's like, who's the first one? I'm like, Samantha. And I always say Samantha.
You're my favorite child that I know of.
You're my favorite Asher. You're my favorite Cindy. Yeah, that's what I tell them that all the time, especially when I'm mad at them. I'm like, oh, Asher. You know what? You're my favorite Asher that I have.
I'm gonna tell Brooklyn that too. Yeah.
You know what, Brooklyn? You're my favorite Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah, her whole name.
Dude, so tell me something controversial that you're thinking. I feel like I know you're thinking something
Controversial. I wasn't, but then you said that, and then I remembered the thing you had brought up a story about. Well, can I say her name? I guess I can say her name, right? She knows. You. Well, my ex, well, my now ex, who was then you talked about some crazy night we all had at a shenanigans. There was some shenanigans one time. You talked about that. Something controversial, and that was the only thing I could remember.
What happened that night? Controversial.
So we were all there. We met y'all to play pool, right? Because y'all were free. Y'all were going there quite a bit. You and Frank, y'all were there. Like y'all owned that joint. I remember that y'all play beer pong every weekend or whatever.
Yeah, I think every Sunday he would call me down there. I remain undefeated.
I
gave up beer pong because last time I went, I was just too good.
Retire. Yeah,
I talk a lot of smack, man. I talk a ton of smack. No matter what I'm playing, I could be losing. I could be 10-1.
It's fun though. It's fun talking smack. Like
I
mean,
mean,
it doesn't have to be anything like offensive, right? It could
yeah, dude.
You're just having fun.
Just having a good time. But man. No matter what we can be playing basketball, volleyball. I mean, we're at your house playing volleyball for like Easter, and I'm getting our uncles all upset just because of smack talking. I mean, I feel like I can, like, whatever we're playing, I can genuinely back it up to the most part. Those times.
No, yeah. I'm not good at a lot of things, but when I am, like, I'm free. I feel free. Like you feel, yeah. I know what you mean. Because like the few things that I am good at, man, I'll get a little cocky. So,
you know what? It probably stems from when me, you, and Edward, because we would always hang out with each other when we were kids.
And yeah, well, and that's how it is.
Brothers.
Well, that's exactly. So there's always that male, like there's always like a sense of competition, and we didn't even realize it. I'm sure because I wasn't thinking of, trying to be better, trying to be fat, but that's always the goal. When you're 8, 9, you're like, well, I want to try that, or if somebody does it, then you're thinking, oh, I might have to do it too. Yeah. And then if Edward went and did it after you, and be like, oh, now I have to do it. Like there's always that you want to keep up,
Yeah. Remember playing like Mario Kart on the N64?
Oh, that would suck. Yeah, when it came to video games, dude. Yeah, and y'all would gang up on me too. That's what's suck.
That's
Yeah, y'all would let me get in first, right?
Oh my
Like
gosh,
or whatever,
dude.
or I would, I don't know if y'all would let me, but I would get to first, and y'all be holding on to that blue shell, motherfucker. And I
Dude,
knew it too. I knew it too. I'd be like, oh, I'm doing all right. I remember I went from first to sixth or something like
to
that, and
8th to 11th.
yeah, like just
Dude,
yeah. Oh,
that game is savage, man. Like when you get on like a Mario Kart and play it. That's probably my favorite one, the 64 Mario Kart 64. Whichever one we played on the N64, dude, we would play that through the night.
I
Do
wonder
you
if anybody's
remember?
ever tried to do that. Try
Were
to,
you
yeah, we
there
would,
that
yeah.
night? We stayed at my house. I don't know how many guys were there. I think it was me, Christian,
I think I do remember that. It was
Andrew. Were
Cornchip.
you
I
there
think
too?
Cornchip was there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was one of those nights that I remember we were at your house,
Yeah.
and like yeah, like because I grew up in the same kind of house that you did. Those houses like on the south side. Yours was actually slightly better than mine. But
Nah, dude, it
my
was
point of the story is
tiny.
you had like five dudes crammed in like a
Dude, that
like a 10
that
by 5
that
or
was
whatever.
such a tiny. It was. I mean, it's a what was it? One, two, three. It was a 3 bedroom house. One bath and a 1 car garage.
What's your bed was in there? Your room was like a hallway. You had
Dude,
like a bed and a desk, and that was it.
that was a tiny room, and to have like 4 or 5, like I don't even know if we were preteens or teenagers, but I remember
I
it
was
was.
already like 20.
Yeah, dude, it was like probably winter vacation, and the window was broken. Like my window was broken, and it was
Get a draft,
cold, dude. It was cold outside.
even with
And,
the body heat.
dude, inside that room, dude, I remember we were just sweating from like
Oh,
everybody just being like so pumped up on it. We had my stereo. It's when I had those huge giant old style speakers. We were playing the Mario Kart. I had
that's how you know you're. That's how you know you're nervous because yeah, when you have like when you're playing with like five other people, you're like, dude, okay, I'm not so ambitious. From like, oh, I'm gonna mop the floor with everybody here. That's you.
yeah.
You can be confident, but me, I'm just like, okay, I just don't want to lose.
Yeah, dude. That
And
game is
your
so weird
hands
because
would
like
sweat because you're so nervous.
it doesn't require like such a crazy amount of I don't think it does such a like a crazy amount of skill to always be first. Like
No,
everybody
it's
has
strategy.
that
It's
chance. Yeah.
strategy. It's all it's yeah. I always thought like, can you on purpose like stay in second to avoid getting hit with the blue shot? Like I always
I
thought
don't
of
know.
things like
Like
that.
I'm sure you can,
Yeah.
but
Well, once I get good with it, once I start learning the tracks, I'll like find little strategies, quicker ways around corners. You know, you get more used to the track you're on, and it's like
yeah,
that with anything. Yeah.
it'll go. I mean, you could burn through a few hours just playing that game with a couple people. It goes quick, man. No, but controversial. I was thinking like
Oh yeah.
you
Back to
talk
that.
stuff like the conversations we have, like what use and what's
Sorry.
out. I know you got some opinions on a couple things. I don't even know.
Oh, my
Like,
controversial opinion.
I'm sure you do. So, I know something that's controversial. I want to see what you want to weigh in on this. Mr. Potato Head came out and said, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, they're
I
dropping the
saw that. I
Mr.
saw
and
that.
Mrs.
So what are they changing it to now?
Potato Head.
Oh, that was yeah. That sounds okay. Why not? Honestly, yeah. Would I thought they were gonna turn it to like I would have been more iffy if they were gonna turn it to like gender neutral vegetable man or person or whatever. Like, yeah. See, like they were joking around. There was gonna be something stupid like that. But like, yeah, just dropping the what do you call that? The Mister.
The
What do you call
Mr. and
that?
Mrs. part? Yeah.
Yeah, dropping that. I mean, like, whatever. You know, you can make either or a combination. Like that's what
That
everybody
so
already
so to
like.
me that's one of
When
those things
everybody
that's like
it's
I
yeah
understand the move in the climate. What I'm wondering is why is there always like announcements for it? Like is that
oh,
shouldn't
there's
we
definitely
just
yeah, like it's definitely politicized. That for
yeah, like
sure. Like
aside from
anything like
you're
that.
for or
That's
against Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head, like whichever way
it,
you fall on that Mr. or
well,
Mrs.
it makes you
Mr.
wonder
Mrs.
if these
Potato Head
companies are
scandal.
doing. It makes you wonder if these companies are doing it to be to actually be supportive to the cause, or just or to raise publicity. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it makes you wonder because a lot of these companies jump on the bandwagon. I mean, it's all good to want to be inclusive and stuff, but they weren't putting out all these commercials about being inclusive until being inclusive became popular. And like that's what ad agencies do. They're gonna jump on what are the people like, what's gonna cause a buzz. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't have, if they were, yeah, if they really wanted to be ahead of the curve, they would have done it, sooner. But
Yeah.
it's only because people get so worked up about something as simple as man, what's that word? The prefix. People get so
Surname?
concerned about surname prefix, right? Mr., Mrs., Doctor. Isn't that
Yeah.
called prefix? Yeah. People get so concerned about that. It's like, yeah, so they're kind of like banking off of that. And now I'm just like, yeah, like there really is no reason to get mad about it. Even if you don't really agree with it, you can not agree with it. But like I just don't want to be getting, have it ruin my day. Or even something as simple as me saying how I think about it without somebody else getting worked up about it and then
Getting
unfriending
upset.
me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you should be able to like weigh in whichever way you feel, left or right on it. Like it doesn't, I don't know. I would rather people weigh in left, like you're for it or against it. And I know which way you stand. That way, like, I don't know, it gives you more visibility. Like if you want to change it to like harsher extremes, like one of your neighbors is a Nazi or a couple of your neighbors are like a hardcore, not like an actual Nazi, like they believe
Like
Hitler's still
loud, yeah.
alive.
You never hear, yeah. You never
Yeah,
really hear about
like
anybody who knows.
would you want to know that they are Nazis or not? Like would you want to just be ignorant to it, or would you want to
See,
know? That
I've
way you're not sending your kid over there just being like, "Oh, you're going to Billy's house?" Like, "Yeah, okay, I'll see you. He's nice." But then like that guy is like a Nazi, you know what I mean? If you're
see, I've
That's what
said
I'm
that too.
saying,
If
like
somebody's racist, if somebody's really racist, would they really put it out there? Because most people don't. Most people are
oh, I
sneaky
think
about
it's
it.
easy to tell right now though if somebody's a racist. Do you think it's hard?
It it's easy to tell if that depends on what raises a flag to you, because what raises a flag to you does not raise a flag to other people. Some
That's true.
people, so something as simple as wearing a red hat with some letters on it will, to a lot of people, that's
Keep
racist.
America great again? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. To that, so that is enough for some people to think that that's racist. Like honestly, like that's, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying that's everybody, but yeah, it's gotten to that point to where, your opinion on something can get twisted in a way that doesn't
Yeah.
reflect you at
But I
all.
mean,
It's
so to me, that's where it's tricky because like with a bunch of different people, like when we go in and talk about this, like I don't have these conversations with everybody. Like if somebody comes up to me on the street and like yells one thing one way or the other, like I'm not gonna have a conversation with them. If a friend of mine or a family member comes up and is talking to me, if they're pro Trump or against Trump, then I'll have a conversation one way or the other, whatever they're looking at. I'm always, I don't know, especially with you, I think I'm always a devil's advocate. Like you have an idea, let me pick this idea apart. Like even if I'm agreeing with what you're saying, like I'm always on the opposite side of the fence.
you
And I think
analyze it. You want to
I think we
analyze
have
the
to do
process
that
behind it.
though. I
Yeah,
told you I do feel like a little bit more like open to things because of that. Like because I'm able to so vividly see everybody's point of view. I think when you cut yourself off from that and you're like, no, I believe this because of this, you can't
I think
show me anything to change
I
my
think our
mind.
conversations have helped with that a lot, at least for me. Like we've had, we our mine and yours debates go back like 20 years, bro.
Hmm.
Like, and there's no way that either one of us have the same stance and opinions we did 20 years ago. We weren't even talking about the same issues 20 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
But
mean,
like,
everybody
yes,
everybody learns, everybody grows up, and like life happens. There's there's still people that are in their 70s, 60s, seven, probably even older than that, and they still have these like preconceived notions. I've
a lot of people, I
I've
think a lot of people
delivered
get
to some
stuck in their
customers
ways.
that
I
didn't want
think,
to talk to me or the person that I was training because of the color of our skin, and they just want to sign paperwork and they just want to they tell us that they can read, they don't need us anymore. And we're out in the middle of Texas, just out there in the country. But
Oh,
I mean,
Middle Texas.
we have those situations every day, and we talk about it. This is a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
but he's black, and we were talking about how difficult it is to be a man in today's society. On top of that, like being a person of color, and granted, he's black. I'm just brown. Like there's still
There,
obstacles, you know.
there,
I've
there,
been
there
I've
are.
been pulled over for multiple things, but it doesn't. For me, it doesn't. I can't generalize my one instance of negative experience to everything in that manner. You know, I go to
Yeah.
HEB, I have a bad time because the cashier checks me out and they're rude. Like I don't think wholly the HEB is like terrible. Same thing with police. Same thing. I even still believe that with politicians, although like
Oh
we
yeah, dude,
we
and I
generalize
don't trust politicians.
politicians.
Yeah, I don't. I do generalize politicians because I don't trust. Like I don't trust politicians for shit, and that doesn't mean I don't trust any politician. But it just means like yeah, like for the most part,
Right, you know, and even that,
I
even
have.
that is giving you the benefit of the doubt. There's somebody here locally called Ray Saldana, and I knew his brother growing up, and we were friends. And Ray is somebody who I went to high school or the same high school as me, and he ended up going to Stanford. I was like, oh man, I thought that was really cool. He was like the guy, right? And everybody in the school and stuff would joke about him. You know, my sister and I would joke about him, like, no, that guy's gonna be, you know, he's the model child. He's in
Yeah,
baseball
he's
class.
going places.
He went to Stanford, and he came back, and he is a city councilman, and so he won, I think, as many terms as you can win on city council, and then now he runs a nonprofit, and that stuff is cool, man. When you see that, it's like, okay, like not all politicians are the same,
Right, right,
but
yeah.
like they're still, politically speaking,
N-
there's
So
still a
so
lot
so
of time there.
yeah, this is the way I have it, kind of like mapped out in my head, the way I see it, and that's not to say, well, this is my truth, like trying to make up my own opinion and make it true, but I think a lot of what I'm about to say is true. It's like there's some when you get up to like the Washington level, like U.S. government level, there's a lot of different working parts to it, and not everything can just be like it's almost like it's already tied up in a lot of ugly past and stuff. So like there's these groups that you have to not piss off, and then there's these groups that you have to kind of cater to, and then but you can't do, it seems like a big game that needs to be played, and you have to play it a little bit. You don't have to be a total sleazeball, but you have to play along to a point. If you want to play along, you gotta play. I've said that
Yeah,
about Bernie Sanders. I've said that I don't think Bernie Sanders is a bad guy. I feel like he's a real genuine guy. I'm not saying he's
he's
this
probably
perfect,
like the most genuine like candidate I've
yeah,
ever
yeah,
seen.
out of all, but he himself still has to play along too. You know what I mean? Like to just enough to
I don't
stay
think
in it.
he's got to play along to that many people. Maybe
Well,
to his
well,
like
well, but
the people
or like
around him.
when he got the primary, when he got screwed over in the primaries, he could have made a big thing about it, but he didn't. He was just like, well, yeah, that's how it is. That's kind of my interpretation of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like, yeah, like it's kind of like that, and you
I don't
can
know,
be
man.
a
Politics is a stupid slope of man, it's just so
yeah, yeah,
bad.
it
So
really
with
is.
politics too, like there's for me personally, there's nowhere I can turn to feel like I'm getting really good information. And not that it's fake news, but it's
No, you don't even know
I
anymore. With me,
mean,
like yeah, like I don't
there's
even.
there's people on the right that have news, and there's people on the left that have news, and there's no station in between. I think there was something huge going on. I don't know if it was a stimulus, I don't know if it was a vaccine or something, but there was something big that was going on, and when I tried to look up a story, I was getting just straight bias from the right
Yeah, yeah,
side
see,
or
yeah, see,
straight bias from the left side. So what I did was to look up what was actually happening here in America. I was
I
reading
just
a
want the
story from
straight facts, straight
UK,
facts.
the UK. That was the URL. It was a news organization, but it was from the UK,
Dot
and
UK,
the way it
right?
was written was, it was written about a different country. So like it was not written like the way it was on the right or the way it was on the left. It was written from like a third party, non-biased view from a different country. And I'm like, oh, okay, look at that. Just facts. And it was showing me, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I
Oh,
got it.
look,
And
news.
I told my wife, I was like, wow, like I have to go to a different country to like get news for our country
It's
that's not like
I thought
biased.
about that. Yeah, I thought about that too. It's like, yeah, well, where can we get like, unbiased news? Because it's like you have to watch both of the biased news and then figure out for yourself where in between where it is.
Oh,
Because man,
oh, you know what
I see
is
hypocrisy. I hate
another like
hypocrisy.
little epiphany that I got is so no matter what it is, like it's not bad. Like personally, I think like all this data mining stuff, like that they're getting, like okay, that may be bad, but personally, like they get all this data from us, whether it be on like social media, our emails, when we buy stuff, when we enter our email address at a store, they can see what we're buying, and it tailors your experience to that store. So our data all goes up to the corporate stuff, right? And my wife and I just got a card, or we paid for the membership to go to like a big wholesale store. And we went there, and we only go shopping on Sundays. And it was just massively crowded. And it was not the same as the other wholesale store membership that we had. So we're like, no, let's leave. We'll come back later. It's probably because of the storm. So we came back later at a different, like a totally different week. It was massively overcrowded again. We look at the line, it's probably taking maybe 40 to 50 minutes just from the line. Like just when you finish shopping, you got in line, it would probably take 40 and 50 minutes before you checked out. We didn't know any of this. Like it's weird to think like that we didn't know any of that from the ads that we see to the concept like, oh, this wholesale store has this and they're really good, and okay, this is good, let's go ahead. We didn't know any of that. But when we reach out to our neighbors, like our neighbors here that we live next to, and
Mhm.
talk to 15, 20 of them, they're all telling us everything that we need to know. Like, yeah, we're only looking to go on Sundays. Everybody's like, yeah, no, on the weekends, it's like that. It's slammed. It's not good. Everybody's like, nope, that is absolutely 100% typical. If you go during the week, it's probably going to be not as bad. It's not
It's
going to
still pretty.
be like non-existent, but it's going to be a little bit better. And so, like, knowing all that information, like firsthand, we probably wouldn't actually get the membership for it at all. But what I was thinking is like on the back end, like, isn't it weird how we used to just like always go together in parties, and it's probably because of COVID, but we used to always get together and talk, and we, have big relationships with our family, our friends, everybody would come over, and we talk about whatever and know things. Family, friends at work, your workers, your bosses, your management, like everybody, the people that you go to, and you would just talk and find out information that way versus like ads or something that's showing you like, hey, I use this product, like this is great. But like just
I
honestly, like, hey, where do you shop? Like, how is it? Like that gave us more information than all the ads, like pulling it up for reviews and stuff. Like just
Is it
honest,
they're
like
real? Yeah, yeah. Because I don't think they're real comprehensive. Because I think they'd have to be spying on us on a really creepy level in order to have it all figured out for us.
yeah.
But like, yeah, you'll get real generalized. Like, dude, I don't. It makes you wonder sometimes. Like, dude, was I seeing this before? Am I only noticing it now? Because the other day I signed on to a new insurance for my my whole Medicare thing and all that.
Uh-oh.
And then like every video that I would click on would the opening ad was like something having to do with insurance. Like 5 times in a row this happened. I'm like, dude, does this happen all the time? Am I just not noticing it? And then I was like, yeah, this, like, I get real like Dale Gribble. I get all paranoid about it. I feel like I'm in the Matrix and I don't like being watched. I
Yeah.
get all, somebody's watching me. So I feel like I get real, yeah, like that stuff messes with me, bro. If I think about it too much, I'm
Yeah,
like,
your phone can like get so much data from you. I personally, I don't care. Like I'd rather get ads tailored to me from Home Depot and Lowe's and all these places. Like I'd rather have it that way. It's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, like you're not doing anything wrong, so you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Like
Oh
I
yeah, I
agree.
still get
This
a
is one
lot of
of those things
ads
where
of that.
like,
I
hey,
still get a
let's
lot of
look,
ads
let's
that don't have anything. Yeah, I
yeah.
get, of
So
course,
like
your
like
typical
looking
car
at this
ad. I was like, I don't drive.
from what we just talked about, like looking at this from both aspects. Like, yeah, one, okay, yeah, I have nothing to worry about. I don't do anything crazy, immoral, illegal. Yeah, go ahead, take all my data. And then the other side of it is that they're making billions of dollars with our data, and
There's like, yeah, there's like a
they're barely
principality. You
even
want
telling us about it. Like when the terms and condition look like my background, and you got to read all of it, and you're like, nah, let me just go, let me just go ahead and
yeah,
accept.
dude, South Park did an episode about that. Like, yeah, like, well, you agreed, you
Yeah.
signed the contract. Like,
Oh my gosh. How much? Like that's got to hold weight, right? Because you're agreeing to those terms and commitment.
oh man, I mean,
That nobody's
yeah, it's
won a
like
successful case like going against it, right? Have they?
I don't know.
What, the
I don't
Apple
really
battery
read
pack? I
into a
don't
lot
know.
about it. Yeah, I mean, they haven't tried to do any. I don't think they've tried to, really. I don't think anybody's gotten really badly screwed over by it.
Yeah. Oh, it says right here we get to keep your soul.
No, okay.
Remember that Simpson episode where
Yeah,
Bart signed his
I thought
soul
it was
away?
South. I thought it was South Park. I thought South Park did that.
Well, no, Bart had signed his soul and gave
Oh,
it
okay.
to somebody, and he just wrote it on a
Oh
piece of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
paper.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
It was an
okay.
old one.
I was like, I should know. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I
old.
know all about the old Simpsons for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How do you think Brooklyn's gonna be able to have an email address when she gets older? Is she gonna have like Brooklyn 6438129?
But I'm thinking I'll have access to it if she ever needs one.
No,
I
like
guess.
like if you get it, like by the time she needs an email for school, do you think she's gonna be able to have an email address that's like semi-normal?
Oh yeah, and I mean like because she's the only Brooklyn.
No, like she's not the only Brooklyn. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because I know she's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah. No, we'll probably make up some like unicorn star whatever fairies or something. It'll be something like
Cindy
that. Yeah.
doesn't know it, but I made her an email address. So it's just first, middle, last name. So she has an email address when she's older. She doesn't have to worry about.
That's exactly how it.
Yep.
Yeah, like
That's
how
how
a dad
far
would
out in
like
the
make it.
future we got to start planning now, man.
There's-
Get your email. All you dads out there, get your email addresses set up for your kids and just
Yeah,
have
you don't
access
want to
to
be.
them.
You don't
Yeah.
want to have to be Chris Cooremans 73 or for no reason. Just yeah,
Dude.
just because I thought I had a rare name,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, who else has my name on here that I can't put my whole name? I have to put one. Stupid. I don't remember.
Like three other. Oh, dude, man, we keep going off. So Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, right?
Okay.
They came back and said that they're not doing it after all. That they're not dropping it.
See, it's publicity.
So that's weird, right? So is what
good
do you think that
publicity.
was a publicity stunt then?
Probably it maybe because a lot of times you know how like somebody from corporate will say something. Oh, they made a statement that this and that, and then somebody has to come and be like, no, we didn't.
So
I don't know, dude.
I feel like you're not
Yeah.
real trusting of companies or politicians.
No, I just think that's one of the. Oh yes,
Or
and
insurance.
also I think that's one possibility. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say for sure, but yeah, because I mean, you hardly ever hear of them going back on something like that too. Because in order to do that, they would make themselves appear as though they're like let's say the radicals on the right got mad about it. So when they changed their mind and made it, it can make it seem you could spin it to where it looks like they're doing that to appease people on the right, or they were doing it in the first place to appease people on the left. And then you're already getting into politics because you're already we're forced to think about it in terms of sides when
Yeah.
those are just the loudest people talking, like because normal people are not over here clamoring about it. Like yeah, we get a little in on it when we hear you see the comment sections, but it's like yeah, no, people aren't going about. I would hate to think that people are going about their entire days letting it just ruin their whole
Just fester in their
just fuck
mind.
their whole shit up. Yeah, it's like, no, I don't think. And
Just a
it
cauldron
works.
of
Yeah,
hate burning
there's
inside their
there
mind.
there are households, people having fights over Aunt Jemima and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
It's real, man.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's
it's
real.
it's not
Like I
everywhere.
said,
I don't
it
think. Yeah.
both in my eyes, like I can totally see both points to an extent. Maybe not their extreme that they're going, but I can totally see both points. Cause like for me,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, for me, like, all right, well, like Asher's got Mr. Potato Head or Potato Head or whatever it's gonna get called.
My daughter's got both. I bought her
Yeah.
both of them.
So he's got them, or yeah, I think he's got one or two, but like he's got it. So like he plays with it when he plays with it. It's not like in our household, it's not something of controversy, you know? It's just that's it. And since we've had it, he's never called it anything remotely close to what it's supposed to be called, Mr. Potato Head. He's never
You know
called it
what? And
anything like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I never enforce like he's a mister. Like don't put the
Yeah.
lipstick on him. It's like, yeah, that's the whole point of the potato head. That's always been the whole point. You mix and match and put all different. You
Yeah.
make them into, yeah. Like that's always been it. Like it's never been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's what I was gonna say
my
too. Because
wife
I
had
was wondering.
a good point because Asher walks around, he gets his mom's slippers and like walks around. He was at our buddy's house the other day and put like he has girls and he put on one of the Ella dresses from Frozen, or he's been watching Frozen a lot. So he puts on a
Yeah.
dress and he's like, I'm Ella from Frozen. And he'll call me Anna and stuff, and like we'll just play. And it doesn't like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure like the super rugged dads out there looking at me and like, oh no, you shouldn't be doing that. Not at all, man. What are you doing to your
Yeah,
son?
yeah.
But like, I
It's
mean,
play.
they're playing,
It's
right? That
at that
whatever
age,
they're
at
playing.
his age, it's just playtime. At his age, it's playtime. Yeah, like
So like, it's not, to me. It doesn't even go to a thought like much further than that. Like it's plain. I'm not even
I
trying to like rationalize anything about it. Like if Asher grows up and he's gay, he's gay. If Asher grows up and he's straight, he's straight.
yeah,
That's
him wearing
you
the
know
Elsa dress is not gonna change whether or not. Yeah, it's not gonna have right. That's what you're thinking. Like whether or
Yeah,
not
like it
he's playing around.
for
Because
me,
a
like
lot of
it
dads,
doesn't.
will probably say,
The
what if
thoughts
he
for
starts
that.
doing it every day? What if he starts doing it when he wants to wear it outside and in public? And it's like, it's like, well, yeah, you're not worried about that right now.
I'm not worried about that ever. You know what I mean? Like for me, like it is what it is. Let's live in the moment. Like that's what he's doing right now. Let's go. Like sometimes I have to be honest. Sometimes I get to be I don't even know, Elsa. Sometimes I said Ella. He goes around and says that he is Betty tells him that Oliver's in his stomach, and he said Asher says that Ella, he's pregnant too, and he goes, Ella. He points at his stomach and he's pregnant, and he says he has a baby named Ella in his stomach. So like there's
Yeah,
sometimes
like
where,
he doesn't
I'm
even know
Elsa, he's Anna, and like I'm over here freezing stuff and we're playing around, and then it switches from like just us like slamming each other on the bed or like tackling me, and like
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
game.
Things are just what they are. There's no separation of genders, and that this is for. And it's weird, my daughter, she'll they get a sense of it real early, like and it's not even because of people like to accuse, I guess, I don't know, TV or whatever. I mean, and yes, they do it. They reserve purples and pinks for girl toys. You could tell, like maybe it's the advertising or whatever, where she says things like, that's not for boys, or that's not for girls or whatever. And that didn't come from me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't enforce those.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I didn't enforce like gender rules or anything like that. But she likes girl things. She gravitates towards girly things, and and I wouldn't say I forced it or anything, but the only thing that I encouraged, which I don't see, like, to me this is a neutral thing, dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs as a kid, and I thought it would be really cool if so I had some toy dinosaurs when she was growing
Dude,
up, and she
I'm gonna
still
only
likes
say
them.
this one time about dinosaurs and who they're only for. It's gonna be really controversial. They're only for archaeologists. no,
You
no, I'm just
Ross
playing.
haters.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, dude. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like the dinosaurs, she likes that too. To me that's like that's a neutral thing. Boys and girls can both like dinosaurs. And it's not even to say that yeah, she likes superheroes. She likes like there's all kinds of. I'm not one to try to make if she starts
I
liking
mean,
more boy
I think it's
things.
one of those things where
I'm not gonna.
we analyze everything over and over again, and it's one of those things where like if you start analyzing it, or if you start turning everything into a lesson, or why you should be doing this, or why you should be doing that, or why this is only for somebody else and not you, like then you kind of lose all those moments because you're just wasting time, or you're trying to
You're
be
too
a warrior
preoccupied
for
on
something.
see, and see that's another thing too. You take the time to raise your kids, but at the same time you want to take time to like actual quality time with them too. You can't just
Yeah.
people. I think a lot of parents get stuck in that especially when they have more kids, like multiple kids, they get stuck in work mode and they almost have no time to just relax and
Are they
um
successful?
have, that's what I'm saying would define success,
Yeah.
define yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
there's a ton
people
of time
mainly
where we
equate that to
lose.
monetary success.
Yeah.
Is always hand in hand with money.
I mean,
So
yeah and no. I don't
to a
know.
lot of people, to a lot of people, your business or
I think
whatever is
when
that.
when we're
I say
not
prosperous. I think would be a more a fitting
I
word
think when we're not over ourselves
because
like it
because
does, like
because
it
success applies that you could fail at it.
more
You could
when you have more money, it means that you can get more things, obviously. Uh and then the appearance of more things, I think people generally apply with being successful. That's just in
yeah.
my eyes,
And
but
that's a natural it's a lot of times it's true, you know what I mean, like for you it's true, it's you're not happy because of it, but it's true in along with it, like you know what I mean, like it's you happen to be you know successful in many ways, you know what I mean. It'd be different, like I would call you out right away if you're like, yeah dude, you got all this stuff, but like you're still a dick or whatever, but like you're not, you're you're
yeah.
not you're
So
you're
my brother-in-law posted something the other day that was like, man, um, I really like it was a meme or a quote or something like that, and it was like, man, I really felt like I would have accomplished a lot more in my life at this age now, and I feel bummed about it.
yeah.
And like I mean, I think we all kind of feel that, and I wrote on there
A
too. I was
natural
like, hey
feeling. That's a
man,
natural feeling.
I was
That's
like,
it. Yeah.
I feel like that too, right? Like I still feel like that too at times throughout the year. Like, oh man, what have I done? And like you can go back and count like the successful things you've done that you're counting as successful, not like anybody else's definition. And it's like it bums you out. Like, yeah, like I thought I'd be like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, or I'd win the lottery and get all this stuff. It's not reality.
No, it's
And
not. Yeah. You gotta look at what's around you and realize. I know for me that what I think helps see value in myself is how other people value me. And that's not to say that I care about what other people think, but when I've had friends or family members, you know, which is rare. We rarely do this, and at this age, I noticed it's happening a lot more where my friends my age are more comfortable opening up and telling me how much they value me. And then when somebody tells you that, you feel you feel the love. So like
yeah,
yeah, you tell them you appreciate them back, and things like that I think are really important. And we don't think about it a lot, but putting out positive, I sound like a hippie now, putting out positive vibes out into the world, I think that's very valuable. I think
yeah.
that's more valuable than we give it credit for,
Well, I
because
mean,
there's no return on that. I think that's why there's no monetary return. It's just what you feel. And
yeah.
that's what it is. People, we like to feel when somebody is generous for no reason to us or compliments us out of nowhere.
Yeah,
So
I feel like when
it
you do a
compels
generous act,
it compels us to do the same for others.
yeah. I feel like when you do a selfless act or a good deed, you're gonna feel a lot better than the person being the recipient of that good deed.
Yeah, yeah. You told me, yeah, you said that, and that's an interesting thought. But
Yeah.
I think
And
it could
that
also
leads to
inspire
more
other
good deeds
people.
because even then, like that's
Yeah.
gonna make you want to chase that feeling
You,
more.
you know, because it has something, yeah, because it has something to do with how it would make you feel. We all share similar feelings
It's
towards
because
certain
we're
actions. So
greedy.
we're like, you know what?
People are greedy.
Yeah, we don't think about, you know what, this person could probably use some help right now. I know if I were that guy, I would really want somebody to do that for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the process
I
that
would
gets you.
struggle with that a lot. Like I would do good deeds and not tell a soul. And then I feel I don't know, I was probably on the fence on it now, but I used to feel like if you did something good, if you told somebody, you were only doing it for yourself to make yourself feel better. Which generally, like you do feel really good when you do a good deed. You leave a $5-10 tip at a restaurant for like a $10 meal, like dude, you'll feel great. You'll feel great.
See, yeah, see, so like there's a difference.
Are
Like,
you
does it
doing it?
make you
I bet
feel
you the person getting that $5 or $10 feels good, but
what?
they don't feel as good as you do. Like, and that's the
What's
thing
it?
when you scale that, you do a really good deed. Like,
So
oh, there was a homeless person. I gave him food and water and a jacket. Like, you're gonna feel really good. You
so
help
so so
somebody.
so so that's what I'm saying. So do you feel good so much about yourself, or do you feel good for that person rather than you feel like you've done your deed for the day, you've done your work or
That's what
whatever?
I'm
Because
saying. And even like when you
that
go on and tell somebody about it, I think that's part of it.
I think that's up to you. I
There's
think if you
very
really
like
feel like,
that's how I used to think. So there's very like it's very fine line, especially now.
well,
I
that's what I said.
think
So how much are you thinking about that person you helped? Because
yeah.
sometimes sometimes it'll stay with, if I just like, I don't know. I can be a real softy about things every now and then, and it sucks because we should be more in tune with that. But it's not
Hmm.
all the time. For the
But like you
majority of the
said,
part, we're pretty
putting
much.
out the positive vibes. If if you see everything that's going on in your social media feed and everybody's being negative, like what are you doing to put some positivity out there into that world? You know?
The last time I did that, I got unfriended.
Yeah. Well, so even then, like if stuff like that's happening though, like does that cause you to then go and like act in a negative way, or do you keep on going on? You know?
Yeah, for the most part, things like that don't phase me. I was pretty phased by it. I'm not gonna get like, just because I don't want to sound like I care too much about it, but yeah, it sucks. It's something that sucks because some of these friends are friends that you've known for a long time, and it's just like, it sucks that things got to be this way.
I
But
know. I think a
but
family member had unfriended you too, right?
but I can't. Oh yeah, well yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't near. I wasn't near as close with that family member. But yeah, that one I actually did brush off right off the shoulder because yeah, I have a big family anyway, and never talked to her, so it's not like. But yeah, it's something that sucks, but it's not so much that it's gonna like, I have to move on. I have to look forward. I can't, I can't let it bother me, so I don't.
Yeah. I think I think even then if you stop putting out positivity, then you're still not doing anything good. Like it's not enough to just try. You have to continue to do it. And it's I mean it's not
You can't get
easy.
discouraged. You definitely can't get discouraged. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
world, like, keep it real. Like, the world does suck. People
And
out
it
there.
doesn't
Yeah,
have to be it doesn't have to be
there,
fake, you know? As long as you just keep going and doing what you can in the world. It doesn't have to be huge.
yeah. You,
There's me and
you're not always
Betty.
going to be in the
This is
mood.
gonna be. This is probably. I don't know. I've thought about putting a post up. The reason I want to put a post up is for the following year. But early 2020, I put out a goal that me and my wife wanted to hit for 2021 school year. I didn't come from the greatest side of town. I didn't go to the greatest school, and I did a lot of theater arts. And I remember getting a scholarship from a VFW for $500 in cash. And I got that scholarship. And that's when I went to UT Austin. The things that you don't think about getting when you're moving into your place by yourself right out of high school: nail clippers, soap, stuff like that. That $500 scholarship helped me get. And Betty and I decided to give away $1,000 cash to a student at South San High School this year. Even more specifically, to somebody in theater arts. So it's going to be seniors that are on theater arts or thespian and theater arts are can apply for it. And
Ooh, okay.
me and Betty are selecting the winner. And so there's going to be one winner this year, one recipient.
Wow.
And
So you,
and so this is big. This is our like, hey, this is what we're going to try to do for the world. And I put that on there last year saying like, hey, this is our goal. I really want this is our goal. We want to give $1,000 scholarship away. And we're able to meet that goal. I've debated about it because I want to put it online. And the reason I want to put it online is maybe people will donate to this and it'll be enough to where next year
can hand out
we
another
can
one,
give
like two of them or three or whatever.
Yeah. So the goal
That's
would
really
be
cool, man.
the goal would be 2 if we have more people like donate and pitch in for it. It would be
See,
going
and
to people that are in an underprivileged school, underprivileged side of town. It's the side of town that I grew up in.
see, that's what I'm saying. So your choice of that is you want to find a kid who has the same passions as you did, you know, the same or the same like interests that you had when you were going, you know, like what I was talking about. Like, yeah, man, I would have that would have been really cool if somebody had, you know, try to look out for me like that or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, it sucks because we can't give every kid $1,000. We
That
can't,
does, yeah, it
right?
does, and that's
But
what sucks about, yeah.
what happens is that it shows that somebody from where we came from cares.
It's
But it
yeah,
also
it's on
it
your
also
heart to
creates
help.
that positivity. It also, like I said, I want to put it online. I've thought about it because for next year I would like to see people pour into it that saw the outcome of it this year. So maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. Either way, maybe we can still keep that thing going for who knows how long.
Yeah,
But
that's cool, man. Because I've always liked theater arts and stuff like that, and like there's not you've. I feel like there's not a lot of push for that. Like you know, in order to be, you know, if you want to be an actor, just like you have to go to Hollywood. I was like, well,
and it doesn't, it's not even necessarily like, hey, you have to be pursuing a theater arts degree. All it is like, hey, as long as you were in theater arts, you were in 2 productions, you didn't even have to be the person that did the lead role. Like that's not a prereq of it. Like we have our requirements.
right.
They got to act out a scene, they got to write in an essay, and then we're going to choose, you know. So you could have been a techie working the curtains both times. You were in 2 productions. I don't explicitly say you have to be a role, and you
Yeah,
act out a
okay.
scene. Okay, is it great? Is it bad? But there's also an essay. Is it great? Is it bad? So there's different things that we're looking at. And when we look at that, like that's what I mean, like giving somebody an opportunity that maybe might not have an opportunity. And that's something like we're also not saying like you have to be going to UT or you have to go into University of Houston. You can be going to Alamo colleges. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to be able to give
Yeah,
back to the community.
yeah,
And seeing that, for me, seeing somebody like Ray Saldana come back and be city councilman and then now working for a nonprofit, like that motivates me. That dude probably has no idea about me, but that would motivate me. That's something that motivates me to do something on my end. It may
to
not be
your
as big
yeah.
and global as some of these other scholarships.
So
It may
yeah,
not be as
like you were
big and
talking about
global
him.
as like somebody else donating thousands of dollars to the school, but it's something that we can help. And if
It
you
shows
think
that you're
about
doing
that,
something that makes
if
you really
every
care.
person chipped away and gave the little bit of positivity that they had, we'd have a way better time overall. Hippies were onto something.
No, that's good, man. And yeah, even what you said about the Saldana or whatever, right? Like he doesn't appear to be in it for the success, you know, like because you know, it's like how do you? I've heard like, you know, if you're in politics like the way he is, like, you know, to be successful in politics, you got to be a little bit of a crook. It's just a saying. I don't believe that, but you could tell he's, like a lot of people like keeping it like family sized and small, and like, because that way I think it's better. You can help not so much more people, but like you can actually help and actually care. You know what I mean? Like what you're doing, what he's doing, like not these nonprofits. Like it's something that's stuff that the community
and
needs.
I always say community, like
we
your
don't
community
need
is what
big
matters.
government bailouts or big government programs. It's like, yeah, those help too, but like no, like what you have the means to do it, and you're just deciding to do it, and that's really cool.
Yeah. I always say community is the big thing. No matter who won the presidency, whoever won the presidency wasn't going to give
neighborly, right? There's not a lot of that neighborly
no,
love.
like what I'm saying is whoever won the presidency wouldn't have given $1,000 to South San Antonio.
Yeah, of his own money.
So no, it just wouldn't. No matter who was in office, even if Bernie Sanders got in office,
there
wouldn't be another $1,000 scholarship to come down to those kids. So it's got to come from your own community.
You're making it, you're making it your business to help somebody out, and that's cool, man. That's really
I think that's what we should all do. It doesn't have to be something big. Like I said, I feel really good about the scholarship opportunity. And then there's things that are really bigger than that. Like the Ford scholarship gives out like $2,000 scholarships to like thousands of kids, I think. And so like it's not that, but it's something. It's something, I don't know, man. So that's something coming out. I haven't told anybody.
That's cool. No, that's real cool. I'm glad.
So
you
I'll probably just leave that here in the video, put it in the show notes. And maybe. You
didn't have a name for it yet?
No, we don't.
Okay.
I sent it out though.
Okay.
I think I just gave it a really generic name when I sent it out.
Brian Vasquez.
Brian and Betty scholarship. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, because even then too, the teacher asked if I could write a little like story of like who I am and that I went there, and it's like, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think it'll be cool. And so I was like, you know what? I'll make a video and talk to the kids. And my wife was like, I think you should just leave it about the kids. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like it's just the kids. Let's focus on the kids. We don't have to make it anything about us. Like, hey, this is what we're requiring. This is what we are requiring. This is how we're gonna like judge. Like we're giving you guys an opportunity to get $1,000 cash.
I do kind of like that idea, like the aspect of it. Maybe not overdoing it, but like like so that way well, I guess that they don't need to know that like you somewhat relate to, you know what I mean? Because I think that's a cool aspect that you were once. I think you were once there.
Yeah.
And there's a connection there. There's a connection there, because otherwise there's like, well, who's this guy? Who's like, who's Brian? Did he die? Like, what's the scholarship?
He died in drama.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. I think we've eaten enough time today. I don't know if anybody would still be listening this far in onto the podcast.
I felt long, dude.
But that was good, man. I don't know how to end it. Like I said, this is the first even idea. So however you want to close it out, bro.
Positivity. Be positive. Don't be a dick to people.
Yeah.
I don't care who you voted for. Oh no.
All right, man.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you go. Everybody, if you had listened to it this far, like I appreciate it. And if you guys have any ideas on the scholarship, like leave me some notes in the comment section or something, so I can think about it. Maybe you guys know something I'm not thinking about for the future. But all right, this has been a great episode of the OK Dad Podcast.